These guys were, they felt something the same way Hendrix felt something when he was on stage playing guitar in a way nobody had ever heard before. That guy came out of nowhere, and everybody was like, what the fuck is he doing? It was so different that Eric Clapton watched him for the first time and was like, I should probably quit playing guitar. Like, what the fuck am I doing compared to this guy? Like, Jesus Christ, everybody was like humbled and confused by it. Psychedelic inspired, 100%. 100%. And there's something about throwing water on that in the 1970s that I think has done a massive disservice to our civilization, a massive disservice, because it's equated these things with people that have poor discipline and bad social skills and ne'er-do-wells who fail in society, and that's not true.
So,
and all these people that I know that are billionaires, I know people that are like super rich people that run these financial institutions. And I know a lot of like brilliant venture capitalist guys and brilliant tech guys. And almost all of them are enthusiasts. Almost all of them have had these experiences, and they're all kind of quiet about it. And it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because of these stupid laws that were passed 50 years ago. We've gotten ourselves in this weird crunch where we've made things illegal that could massively help people progress in life and sort things out if we could figure out how to manage them correctly, if we could run proper studies about what is the correct dose. Is there a person that has a certain sort of biological makeup that makes these drugs problematic? Should we find out maybe someone's allergic to them? There's many medications and many different compounds and many plants and natural things that people are allergic to. Let's avoid that. Let's try to figure out what works for some people, what doesn't work. Let's have legitimate counselors that could guide people through experiences, people that have experienced it themselves and can understand how to do this with intent and possibly aid your life. They have been shown to be hugely beneficial for soldiers, for our military men and women coming back from overseas experiencing horrific trauma, to help them get past that. And yet they're illegal still. And we're both middle-aged men, right? So who is telling us what we can and can't do? This is preposterous. This is other men our age that haven't had these experiences maintaining this control on them in a completely ignorant way. They don't even know what they are. They don't know what these things are. They don't know what the experience is, and yet they want it to be kept out of the hands of kids. We've got to keep it off the streets. We've got to keep drugs away from our society. And you don't know what you're talking about. It might be why we're here, and it also, the absence of it, might be why we're so fucked up. It might be why we're so disconnected, why we're so disjointed, and our society is so hypocritical. I mean, the most pro-life people are also pro-death penalty. It's like across the board, everything. The people that, want no crime but don't want to stop the emergence of crime by funding programs to try to fix the inner cities, and they want to. Our whole thing is disconnected. And I have a feeling that a big part of that is that we have not been given access to tools that have helped people literally become what we are today. And if they're if you read Brian Murarescu's work, and if he's correct, and these people that are studying the Eleusinian Mysteries and the literal emergence of democracy as we know it, probably all of it came out of psychedelic experiences.
So I had Timothy Leary's old job at Harvard.
That comes with a lot of weight.
Yeah, and I knew some of the people that knew him. And so you could say that what happened in the 1960s, and this is relevant to the psychedelic experience, let's say, is that the emergence of mushrooms in particular, and then LSD, indicated to a swath of the population, like Leary and like Ken Kesey, that our perceptions were locked in kind of a box, in a box that we weren't even conscious of. I suppose that's the box of conformity. And the psychedelics released a wave of nonconformity. And Leary crystallized that with his tune in, turn on, and drop out. Now, there was a major problem with that, and that was partly what led to the kickback. So you might say that the first stage of something approximating a religious revelation is the understanding that your perceptions have been constrained by forms of conformity that were so extensive that you didn't even understand them. You didn't even know they were there. And so you're freed from that. And then maybe the first response to that is the celebration of an unlimited hedonistic freedom. But the problem with that is that freedom from constraint and hedonism is not freedom. It's just subjugation to a kind of instinctive chaos. And that emerged with the hippie culture. And Leary in particular made a huge mistake when he said tune in, turn on, and drop out. He should have said tune in, turn on, and grow up. I'm dead serious about that, because there's a different form of responsibility that emerges once you realize that you were constrained by a conformist box, let's say like Moses when he was being a normal shepherd, that you can step outside of that, but you don't step outside of that into worship of the golden calf like in hedonistic orgies. You step outside of that with a more conscious upward aim. And if the use of transformative technologies like psychedelics isn't accompanied by that framework of enhanced responsibility, then it can degenerate into a kind of hedonistic chaos.
Right.
And that's what the Nixon types were reacting to. They were terrified by it. And they had the reasons to be terrified because, as you're intimating, these technologies are unbelievably potent and destabilizing. Now, that destabilization can be used for, let's say, for better or for worse.
Right.
And it should be used for better. That's complex. It's a very complex thing to manage. And so Carl Jung said that one of the main functions of religion was to stop people from having religious experiences. And what he meant by that was that a direct experience of the transcendent is enough to shake you to the foundation and to destabilize not only you but your culture. This is why, for